Very good morning, dear students. This is the second part of the resource and development chapter. In this video, we will study about resource planning in India. Without any delay, let's begin. Resources are vital for human survival as well as for maintaining the quality of life. It was believed that resources are free gifts of nature. As a result, human beings used them indiscriminately, and this has led to variety of problems. We'll discuss those problems. Now, these are some of the problems. Depletion of resources for satisfying the greed of few individuals. Now, the problems that we see here, they are due to indiscriminate use of resources. What is indiscriminate use? Without having to worry about the future. You're just using the resources for your own sake. In turn, what is happening is the depletion of resources. Second one, accumulation of resources in few hands. In development chapter, you have read that wealth is not distributed in an equal way. It is distributed unequally. Few people inherit more wealth, while large number of people do not inherit. Now, because this happened, in turn, the society gets divided into two parts, that is, have-nots and haves, or else we can call it as rich and poor. Third one, indiscriminate exploitation of resources has led to global crises such as global warming, ozone layer depletion, environmental pollution, and land degradation. We are not going to look at the first two, but the rest two we are going to look at in this chapter. You might be knowing about global warming, right? Global warming refers to the trapping of the greenhouse gases, where suddenly you will see a rise in temperature. Ozone layer depletion. This has been recently in news during the corona outbreak. Some TV channels were focusing on the ozone layer depletion, the ozone, right? Third one is environmental pollution. Ought to happen when resources are used indiscriminately. And the last one is land degradation. Yeah, if you use the land without giving it chance to get replenished, it will lead to degradation. Now, these are just bullet points. I have told it already. Now, exploitation, unequal distribution of resources, ecological problem. I told you global warming, scarcity of resources. In future, we may not have resources left, and depletion of resources. Yeah, already some of the mines of gold, we are depleted with gold. We have a new source of gold. So I'm not saying gold is the required resource here. What about water? Maybe that some other day it might be water. So the idea of sustainable development, this is not new. You have already studied this in the chapter development in economics. Sustainable economic development means development should take place without damaging the environment, and it should also keep in mind that it should not compromise the needs of future generation. Development should take place, definitely, but it should not compromise the needs of the future generation. That is called sustainable development. Now, more on that, the economic development which does not damage the environment and at the same time takes care of the needs of the future generation is called sustainable development. For 1 mark. You will see some examples on your screen, right? Like low carbon growth, resource efficiency, social inclusivity. Now look at this picture. I remember now it is not social inclusivity. Now it is social exclusivity, or else in other words it is called as social distancing, which is the need of the hour, right? For that sustainable development issues, the United Nations called so many meetings, summits for the countries to come and get ready for the future. One such summit was Rio de Janeiro Earth Summit in 1992. The summit was convened for addressing urgent problems of environmental protection and socio-economic development at the global level. You might be remembering here, I told you 17 sustainable goals. So in these kind of summits, the goals are declared. The assembled leaders signed the Declaration on Global Climatic Change and Biological Diversity. The Rio Convention, the Rio de Janeiro Earth Summit is also known as the Rio Convention, endorsed the Global Forest Principles and adopted Agenda 21. Agenda 21 is asked for MCQs. I did not think that it is, sometimes in 2-3 years it was asked for, Agenda 21 was asked for 3 marks. I wouldn't see so, because there are much more important questions in this chapter. What is Agenda 21? It is the declaration signed by the world leaders in 1992 at the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development. Right? Remember UNDP? That is related to the Human Development Report. One such is United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, which took place at Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Now it aims at achieving global sustainable development. That's the agenda. It is an agenda to combat environmental damage, poverty, disease through global cooperation on common interest, mutual needs, and shared responsibilities. Remember, that is why India sends medicines to the United States. It sends relief to the countries wherever it is required. Pakistan asks for help. China provides it. India ready to provide to any country. Why? Because it is mutual needs and shared responsibilities. Now we always do it, we expect the others also to do it. One major objective of Agenda 21 is that every local government should draw its own local Agenda 21. Main aim of Agenda 21 is sustainable development. Now, why is resource planning necessary? Planning is widely accepted the strategy for judicious use of resources. Remember the word judicious use of resources. It has importance in a country like India, which has enormous diversity in terms of resources. You might be knowing by already that the Chota Nagpur Plateau is also called the mineral storehouse of India, right? There are regions where there are rich types of resources found. There are regions where deficiency is also found. There are some regions which consider to be self-sufficient in terms of availability of resources. There are some regions where there is shortage of resources. Example, states of Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh are rich in minerals, coal, right? Coal is the main one. Arunachal Pradesh has abundance of water resources but lacks infrastructural development. Arunachal Pradesh doesn't have infrastructure like railways, proper roads, buildings, school, health facilities. It's not given. Now it is difficult also. You might be knowing that the topography of Arunachal Pradesh doesn't support infrastructural development in a very quick way. The state of Rajasthan is very well endowed with solar and wind energy. I told you in probably when I was telling you about potential sources of energy, I told Rajasthan has the possibility of harnessing solar energy but lacks water resources, yeah, due to the positioning of Rajasthan in the northwest, where the monsoon suddenly becomes weaker. The cold desert of Ladakh is relatively isolated from the rest of the country. It has a rich cultural heritage. It is deficient in water. Whatever you see, it is one of the least rainfall places in India. It is deficient in water. What do they drink? They drink the snow melted water. Infrastructure and other minerals are not found in the cold desert of Ladakh. This calls for balanced resource planning at the national, state, regional, and local level. So, as a country, what needs to be done is you have to take the resources where it is available, and you have to balance everything, right? Otherwise, the area where there is no resource would be considered as a backward area. Now, how do you do it? Now, this is very, very important, guys. It's often asked for 3 marks. Now, resource planning is widely accepted strategy for judicious use of resources. It has a lot of importance in a country like India, which is diverse in resources. I told you how it is diverse. Now, there are 3 stages of the resource planning. You have to remember this, guys. You have to produce it like this only. The first stage is identifying the inventory of resources. Now, sorry for the spelling mistake. It's identifying. Second one is economic and technological evolution. Third one is matching the resource development plan with the national development plan. How is resource planning done? This is just a highlight. I'll get into the detail now. Stages of resource planning. First is identification and listing of resources. We'll identify where are these resources found. Survey, we use survey. Mapping can be done. Measurement of the qualities and the quantities. How much is left, or you might be knowing about the Kudremukh iron mines, right? Now, I don't think iron ore is left in Kudremukh. So, how did they know? They mapped, they surveyed. So, they knew the quality and the quantity. You might be knowing the ores of iron, hematite, magnetite. You will see which types of the iron ore is found in which area. Now, second one is planning for exploitation or planning to remove the resources. So, if you want to extract the resources, you need to develop a planning structure with suitable technology, skill, and institutional setup. Can you just go thinking that uranium is available in Jammu and Kashmir? Can you just go and hand pick uranium? I don't think so. That is impossible. Third one, identification is done. Planning for exploitation, that is done. Then you match your resource development plan with the national development plan. What is your national development plan? It can be anything. Our national development plan, a lot of times it used to be removal of poverty. Yeah, you have to match. You have to see whether your resource development plan is working out in the favor of the national development plan, and you have to match it. The next concept is resource conservation. It's a planned use of resources in order to meet the present needs and to store a part for the future generation is called resource conservation. I'm very sure about this. You studied in class 8th, right? Remember, go back. Resource conservation is necessary because many resources are non-renewable. Lot of resources are non-renewable and exhaustible. If we don't conserve them, we will not have them in the longer period of time. Second one, conservation of resources helps us to reduce wastage. Remember the 3R rule: reuse, reduce, recycle. So you have to reuse, have to reduce and recycle, so that it helps in economic progress and reduces wastage. Third one, it helps us to protect the environment. If you have a proper conservation plan, it will help us to protect the environment. Now, one of a very famous environmentalist. Now, we don't see Gandhiji as an environmentalist, right? According to Gandhi ji, there is enough for everybody's need and not for anybody's greed. These are very famous lines told by Mahatma Gandhi ji himself. What does he mean? He means that greedy and selfish individuals and the nature of greediness, by using the modern technology, we can attempt to extract whatever resources we have got, and it will lead to resource depletion. Let's say we are in a dire need of diamonds and golds. So shall we go to the mines wherever it is found and completely remove, extract everything and just make it gold? It would lead to depletion. So you have to give it for the next generation. What will you give them? You will give them nothing when all the resources have been utilized. Should not do it. He was against mass production and wanted to replace it with production by masses. Mass production is obviously done by the machines, and he wanted the people to get involved in production. जितना आपको चाहिए उतना ही बनाना है. Enough for everybody's need, not for anybody's greed. But how many people will agree with the Gandhi's idea of conservation of resources? Not everybody agrees on it, because development for one will not be development for another one. So guys, today we have learned only about this. In tomorrow's video we will go for one of the resources, that is land. How land is a resource, how land usage pattern is done in India, and which are the land degradation measures and how can we control it. I'll go for that tomorrow.